Now let's go back to online abuse of people with disabilities and Katie Price's desire for it to be made a criminal offence. A new report by MPs has said that they are looking at that. It follows a petition started by the TV personality who has a disabled son herself. Well, here are some of the tweets that Harvey Price has received. This is a tweet that was actually addressed to Katie saying, "I've got some sweets for Harvey here. I hope he chokes on them." Another, "Why does Harvey Price look like a member of the IRA?" And a tweet from a now suspended Twitter account created just to post memes and abuse aimed at Harvey. Well, let's talk to the accessibility rights blogger Dermot Devlin. Thank you very much for joining us, Dermot. Have you been subject to online abuse?
I have in the past, yes. Now, obviously not to the same extent as a lot of other people, including Katie Price's son Harvey. But yes, anybody that maybe with a disability or other way who's online is going to experience it at some time or another. And the few times that I have experienced it, it has been quite traumatic and horrifying for me as a person.
Yeah, tell us more about the impact on you, the sort of things that you've had and how it makes you feel.
Well, I've had it from both sides of the equation. Some people, because after the London 2012 Olympics, there was a good feel factor across the UK regarding people with disabilities. You know, they were sort of saying, you know, sort of empowering us and stuff like that. But over the years, you know, that perception has changed. And with the introduction of things like PIPs and universal credit, you know, we've sort of become the scapegoat in society. What that has resulted in is us being targeted online. You know, we've been called lazy, we've been called spongers, stuff like that. I've been told several times online, you know, do the world a favour, go somewhere and die, we don't need you. So it's actually horrible. Like.
MPs are talking about potentially making online abuse of disabled people a specific offence. I mean, obviously, it requires people who are receiving abuse to actually report it. Would you ever report something? How would you deal with something that comes to you? Would you like to see somebody prosecuted as a result of something that is sent that's particularly vile?
Ultimately, I would, yes, but not if it was somebody maybe with one or two comments. You know, you could use them as an example to say to stop it. But whenever you have somebody that is a repeat offender who keeps coming back and taunting individuals or certain members of society, whether it's the people with the disability community, whether it's fat shaming, or whether it's people maybe in the LGBT community, if they're constantly being harassed by individuals, then yes, that ultimately should be a hate crime and ultimately should lead to prosecutions. Because otherwise, nothing's ever going to be done. Because you know, there's only so much the social media websites can do with regarding sort of monitoring that, because they can close down the account, but there's nothing to stop somebody else again setting up account somewhere else. So ultimately, it has to lead to prosecution.
What would you say to the sort of people that are putting this stuff across to people and the impact that they're having? I mean, you know, there may be somebody watching now who has perhaps sent a message to somebody online. If you could say something directly to them, what would you say?
Well, I don't like to go on to the rest of the people, so I don't know what's going on in their own life that they feel like they have to lash out. But when you do attack people like myself that maybe have a disability or some other minority in society, you know, you don't know the damage that you're doing to these people. Like, we're not just a number on the screen or a username. We're real individuals. And, you know, you have let, like myself, who has been caught up quite emotionally in it. Like, it has stopped me, because I run a website called My Way Access, which is all about promoting people with disabilities, just empowering them and getting them to do things on their own. But that actually stopped me for a long time, because I was too scared to go online in case I would be attacked again. So, you know, you are doing real damage. And there's other people that could actually end up being the clue that they won't actually want to go outside anymore in case they meet these people in real life. And it has led to, sadly, some people with disabilities taking their own life, because they do feel that people in society is against them. And that's ultimately where the cyberbullying can lead to.
Thank you very much for joining us, Dermot Devlin. Thank you.